Okay, so we're out in my backyard, and this is my seed starter. I like to do it outside because I found that when I was growing my seedlings inside, they were pretty weak because it was too good. It was like utopia conditions. And I found that doing it outside created a stronger plant, and there was less period of trying to transition because I was not very good at putting it out for a couple hours and bringing it back in for a couple hours. I really don't have that kind of time, so it's just easier to start it outside and get them used to the outdoor conditions. And so this is what I use. I use this thing that's called Plug Block Go, and basically it's like a little biodome, and it's this little styrofoam insert on a tray with a bunch of holes. I think there's like 60 holes or so. And so here you can see my seeds have sprouted, and already I'm starting to get my tomatoes as well as my cucumbers. And my cucumbers started sprouting like the next day. It was crazy how fast they started. So it really likes these conditions. And we'll just take a little look here what we got. So I have indigo blue, which is a really good tomato. It's a heat lover, and it's going to do pretty well for me, especially towards the hotter months. And when I'm trying out new ones, this is called Big Rainbow. And yes, I planted more than one seed in a little space, but what I'll do is I will carefully remove the seedlings from the area and separate the roots. It won't be a big deal, and I'll transplant it into a bigger container. I usually like to wait until I get the second set of leaves to do that, which is really the true leaves. And then I've got Big Mama here, another new one I haven't tried. This is a paste type of tomato. And I also have, what is that one? Oh, Americana. Oh, that was a really good one. So I'm excited. I have a couple of those growing. And then in the back, I have a red pearl. I picked that up from New Orleans in an Italian market. And I also have Rosella, which is a cherry tomato, a black cherry tomato, and people said they really like that. So, you know, in the garden groups on Facebook that I'm in. So I'm trying that. And then over here I've got some cucamelon, and that's going to be like little cucumber kind of things that I'm going to try to grow on a trellis. And then California Wonder haven't come up yet. These are the bell peppers, the next two rows, and the red bell. But you can see I do have a little red bell popping up. And then all my cucumbers, and you could tell I like cucumbers. So they're doing pretty good. I've got a jalapeno pepper over here. You could see that it's starting to root. And then more cucumbers. The eggplant hasn't done anything yet. And then these empty ones, I just popped them out and put them in their own separate containers, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And then over here I have some shiso little seedlings popping up, and that is the red variety. And I like to use these plastic markers, and then I just use a wax pencil, because as you can see, it can take on the water and it's not gonna rub off or fade, which I have found that to be the case if I use a Sharpie and popsicle sticks. This seems to work out best for me. So, and they're gonna be recyclable, so I can use it over and over again. But let me show you what it looks like when I take it over to the next phase. So these guys I will transplant in a couple days, and they'll grow pretty good. So let's go check this out. Okay, over here, I just planted them in these tall plastic tubes. And the reason why I do that is it'll allow the roots to grow pretty deeply. And also, I have gophers in my community garden. And then I just top it off with a net cup, because if I don't, then some creature, you know, I don't know, grasshopper or something, is gonna come by and it's gonna eat the seedlings, and I don't want that to happen. So I pop these on, they fit really nice on top there, and the birds can't get to it, and I wait until the leaves hit the top of the net cup, and then you know, then I'll remove them, and they'll be able to grow pretty well. Usually by then the bugs leave them alone. Okay, so I'm getting ready to transplant these things, and just so you see what my setup looks like, I use the organic potting soil that I just get from my local nursery. And then I have these tubes that I got from Konishi Plumeria. He sells online. And here's my tray of seedlings. So I'm really only going to do the cucumbers because the tomatoes are still too small. So I'll take a tube and I just put it into this bucket that I filled with some of the good potting soil. And I'm only going to put about 3/4 of a way through. And I'm just going to fill them up. And the reason why I don't do it all the way is because I want the roots to be fairly in the tube, and then I'm going to put soil around it. Just like that. Okay, so it's starting to sprinkle a little bit, but I'm still going to proceed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently pluck this out and see how easy it pulls out. And then I'm going to make sure I keep this so that I know which one this is. This is Space Master. This is a good one. And if you're worried about pulling out the roots, then what you could do is you can just put it in water like that, and look how easily the roots separate. So that way you're not tugging at the roots, and they separate really easily. Because when they're young like this, the roots are essential. So I'm gonna maybe pour a little bit of this dirt out, because I want it to go as deeply as I can get it, you know, down the tube. I mean, it could squish a little bit, but it's a pretty decent sized tube. So, and again, the reason why I have to do it this way is because I have gophers. If you don't have gophers, you could just plant them in pots, but these tubes work great for me. And then I'll just take some dirt, I'll just hold it, and then I just gently pour the dirt around, the soil around it, like so. And that's how you transplant these things. So it's important, after you transplant them, within 20 minutes, give them a good drink of water. This is rainwater that I collected, so that way the roots don't get in shock. And noticing I'm doing this in a overcast day, so this is a perfect time to transplant them, so their stress is minimized. And then I basically just keep them in this kind of tub of a container. This will eventually be full of cucumbers. And what I do is I just put the marker there, and then I know this row going across is the type of cucumber. Eventually, I'll figure out what type of cucumber it is, but this is just great for like Space Master, knowing that I don't need to have a lot of space to do it. And this is the MI cucumbers that I got from the MI gardener. First time I ever bought seeds from him, and the leaves are doing really good. It looks like a very healthy plant. They all germinated, so he's a great resource to get seeds. And it's really inexpensive. I think they were like $1 or under a couple dollars. I don't remember, but so I got a bunch of seeds from him, and I'll probably continue to do so. And he has a very popular YouTube channel. And then these ones are Muncher Cruncher, and these are the smaller little cucumbers. These are really, really good. I had these last year, and they're awesome. And I don't think you can have enough cucumbers. I love growing them, and they taste so good. I mean, so intense. And then over here, I've got my potatoes growing in this giant planter box, and they're doing really, really good. Look how green they are. And they're getting big. And then I have some more potatoes over here. This was my failed test of somebody had posted you can plant an aloe vera leaf, try to root roses, and you could see this was a fail. And here's my tomato that also failed, didn't root. So anyways, but I'm always experimenting. And over here I kept my tomato bush from last year in the ground, and it's revitalizing, coming back. That one is the purple German one. I forgot the variety name, but it's a big, like purplish black tomato, and it's really good. It's a beefsteak. So I've got some flowers growing, more potatoes, strawberries. It's just doing okay, but things are kind of blooming. And got irises. Isn't that beautiful? So I try to do a little bit of flowers all over the place, and it's just fun to see them come up. And then these ones are ending. But that's about it for now. I'm just trying to grow stuff and get my seedlings starting. What I'll do with those empty spots is I'll show you. I'll just add what I use to start my seeds. I should say is I add a cocoa core to these little spaces, and I don't even wet the core because, as you can see, the water kind of seeps in there, and then I just drop seeds in. And you don't, they germinate at different rates, they grow at different rates, and so you just kind of keep an eye on it. And you do not want to keep like these cucumbers in for too much longer, because they're going to need soil, and they're going to need air. So the lid, creates a humidity, and that's what's great for germinating the seeds. But for the actual plant itself, they don't really want too much of a humid condition, because it'll start to rot, and we don't want that. We want growth. So just watching what's going on with the plants, and just giving them what they need to flourish. And that's how I start my seeds. I also have done the baggie method, and that's a great way. And sometimes I direct sow too. Just depends on the type of seed and the time of the year. This is a little early for me. This is March, and I started these about a couple weeks ago. Normally I don't start until April, but I'm just trying to get a jump start on my season. And then what I'll do is I'll plant another round, kind of like in a few weeks down the road, maybe a month into it, so that I can get a second crop. And I just kind of try to do succession planting like that with the cucumbers. I might not do that with the tomatoes, because what I'll do for the tomatoes is I'll plant them probably July, and that'll be my second round. And I'll do a colder version of tomatoes so that I can get a fall crop. But I've tried to do a fall crop for a couple years. I had a great start this year, this past season, but the rodents got to it. So I'm coming up with ideas to protect my tomato plants. Anyways, and when I do, I'll show you. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching as always. I appreciate you liking my video, sharing my video, and of course, subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. I hope you will. And until next time, take care. Remember, life after 40 is good, and especially so are you. Thank you. Bye.